this is what I need. It's time to make that call.
Yes, indeed, it is Money Matters time right here on the Buffalo Toyota Afternoon Drive. Today we're talking about something every single person understands, and that is time. You know, we often say, I'll deal with it next month, or I'm waiting for the right time. When it comes to money and debt, waiting can either be wise or it can become very expensive. So, Casper, today's topic is the best time was yesterday, but the second best time is today. Why is this such an important message for consumers? Good afternoon. Welcome.
Afternoon, Mr. K. Yeah, well, this is something we see literally every day. Consumers often wait because they hope things will improve. And sometimes waiting can be wise, but we must not panic.
Mhm.
We must not rush into big financial decisions. But there is the important question. Are you waiting after getting the facts, or are you waiting before getting the facts? And that is the massive difference. If you come for an assessment, understand your credit profile, understand your budget, know what you owe, know what your risks are, and then decide to wait, that is an informed choice. So that's the big difference.
Yeah.
But if you wait because you are scared, embarrassed, confused, and hoping the problem will fix itself, then you may not know whether you are too early, on time, or already way too late.
Mhm. Fantastic point, that Casper. So waiting itself is not always wrong, is what you say.
Exactly. Waiting is not always wrong. In fact, there are times where waiting can be a wise thing to do. But waiting without information is very, very dangerous. Let me put it this way. If your car makes a strange noise and you say, I will wait, that may be okay if you first had a mechanic check it and he says, you safely drive now, but monitor this. This is an informed waiting. But if your car makes a strange noise and you just turn the radio louder so that you do not hear, that is not wisdom. That is avoidance, my friend. Debt can be exactly the same. A consumer may say, I will wait until next month, but next month the credit card is higher, the arrears are worse, the calls are more stressful, and the options may actually be fewer. So the point is not never wait. The point is, do not wait in the dark. Don't wait for a ESCOM blackout.
Oh, fantastic point. What a way to make it. So then, Casper, you wanted us to link to a Bible story, which I'm sure is going to be fascinating. So which story fits today's message?
A powerful one is the parable of the 10 virgins in Matthew 25. In the story, 10 virgins were waiting for the bridegroom. 5 were wise and took oil with their lamps. 5 were foolish and did not have enough oil. Now, here's the interesting part. They were all waiting. The difference was not that some waited and others did not. The difference was that some waited prepared and some waited unprepared. So that is a powerful money lesson. Waiting can be good if you are prepared, but waiting without preparation, without facts, without a plan, and without understanding your position can become a massive crisis. For consumers, the oil in the lamp is information. It is your credit report, it is your budget, it is knowing your arrears, it is knowing whether you are still okay or whether you are already in financial danger.
Okay, so then, Casper, let me ask you this as directly as I possibly can. What's the point of waiting before you have the information?
Mr. K, that's exactly the question. Many consumers say, I am going to wait before I speak to someone. But why wait before you know the facts? You do not know if you are too early. You do not know if you are just on time. You do not know if you are already late. You do not know if the solution is budgeting, restructuring, debt review, settlement, or simply better planning. Without the assessment, you are just guessing. And guessing with debt is very dangerous because while you are waiting, the accounts are not waiting. Interest may continue, arrears may grow, debit orders may bounce. Credit providers may send notices, the credit profile may become worse. So rather get the information first, then you can decide whether to wait or act. But Mr. K, on that point, you know what is one of the biggest things that consumers tell us after they've done the assessment? I should have done this a year ago. That's probably one of the most common statements we get from consumers.
Yeah. Ne? So then, speaking of that, Casper, why do people delay getting help?
There are a few reasons. First, obviously, it's shame. People feel embarrassed to say, I'm struggling. You know, it's sometimes we have to put our pride in our pocket. And the second part is fear. They have heard fake news or horror stories and think if they speak to a debt counselor, they will automatically be placed under debt review. Third is hope. They say maybe next month will be better. And sometimes it is. But if every month you are saying next month will be better, that may not be hope anymore. That may just be avoidance. And fourth is confusion. People hear about consolidation loans, debt review, payment arrangements, settlements, and credit checks, but they do not know what applies to them. And that is why DCGsa's assessment is so important. It gives you the facts before you actually make a decision.
Now then, let me ask you this important question, Casper. If someone comes to DCGsa for a free credit check and debt assessment, does that mean they're applying for debt review? Such an important question to answer.
Let me give you the short. No, but let me elaborate.
Please.
So no, Mr. K. And I want to say this very clearly. A free credit check and debt assessment does not and is not an application for debt review. At DCGsa, we do not sell debt review. We offer a financial assessment. We look at your credit profile, your income, your expenses, your debt repayments, and your affordability. Then we explain your options in plain language. Sometimes the answer may be you are over-indebted. You are not over-indebted yet, but you need to change your budget. Sometimes it may be you must stop taking new credit immediately. And sometimes it can just be you are already in danger and need legal protection. Sometimes debt review might be the right option, but then it must be properly explained so you understand what you are letting yourself into, that you understand what your options are. And the point is that the consumer must make an informed choice. We do not want people in debt review who do not understand the process or do not want the process. Debt review works best, and believe me, it works magnificently when the consumer understands it, commits to it, and really wants to fix their debt problems responsibly.
Okay, now let's get practical here, Casper. Give us an example of how waiting can cost someone.
Okay, so let's say a household earns a salary, but their debt repayments are simply too high. Let's say they are paying 18,000 Rand per month towards debt. But after rent, food, fuel, school cost, insurance, their living expenses, realistically, they can only afford 11,000. Now they say, let me wait 3 months and see. But what happens during those 3 months? They make short pay accounts because now you 7,000 Rand short every month. And that's the reality of today's consumer.
Yeah.
They may use the credit card for groceries. They're going to use that overdraft. And then in between it, the bank phones and let's extend your credit card. Let's extend your overdraft. They may take a small loan to cover their debit orders. They may miss a vehicle payment. They may start ignoring creditor calls because they are so overwhelmed and stressed. By the time they finally ask for help, their situation may be even worse. Now compare that to a consumer who says, I'm not sure if I need debt review, but let me get assessed. After the assessment, they may decide to wait. But now they are waiting with a plan. They know the risk. They know what to avoid. They know what warning signs to watch for. They know when they must act, and they know what their actual budget is. That is the difference between fear-based waiting and informed waiting.
Mhm. So then, guess what? When we say the best time was yesterday, what are we really saying?
We are saying that the earlier information usually gives you more options. And that's always the case with finances. The best time to check your credit profile was before the accounts fell behind. The best time to review your budget was before the debit orders bounced. The best time to ask for your advice was before legal letters arrived. The best time to understand debt review was before you were desperate. But here is the hopeful part. If yesterday is gone, today still matters. The second best time is today. Do not wait until you have borrowed again. Do not wait until another debit order bounces. Do not wait until the vehicle is at risk. Do not wait until pressure affects your marriage, your sleep, and your health. Today is a good day to get the facts.
All right, Casper, we made it a bit earlier, but let's bring it all together with the verse, scripture for today.
I would use Matthew 25, verse 4. The
Mhm.
wise ones, however, took oil in jars along with their lamps. That is such a practical picture. The wise ones were waiting, but they were not waiting unprepared. For today's listener, preparation means getting the facts. It means knowing your financial position. It means not waiting in the dark. It means having oil in the lamp before the crisis arrives. So Matthew 25, verse 4. And faith is not ignoring the problem. Wisdom is preparing properly and taking the next step responsibly.
Absolutely. So some listeners, Casper, may feel that they've already waited too long. What do you want to say to them?
I would say do not let regret keep you stuck. Maybe you should have acted earlier. Maybe you've ignored warning signs. Maybe you should have done this a year ago. Maybe you hoped it would fix itself, but shame does not solve debt. Silence does not solve debt. Fear does not solve debt. One honest conversation can create clarity. At DCGsa, we are not here to judge you. We are not here to force you into anything. We are here to assess, explain, and help you make an informed choice. Sometimes the first conversation gives people something they have not had in months: peace, direction, and a plan.
Mhm. And Casper, final word for the listener who's listening and keeps saying, I will wait.
My final word is this: waiting is not always wrong, but waiting without facts can cost you dearly. Come do the assessment first. Let us see what your situation is. Let us check your credit profile. Let us look at your real budget. Let us explain your options. Then, if you decide to wait, at least you are making informed choices. But do not wait in the dark like the ladies without the oil in the lamp. Contact DCGsa for a free credit check and debt assessment. Please WhatsApp us 061 432 8499. I'm going to give that WhatsApp number again: 061 432 8499.
All right. And that's how we wrap up Money Matters for this afternoon. Casper, thank you so much. That was practical and encouraging. And of course, listener, you've been told the best time may have been yesterday, but guess what? The second best time is today. So get the facts, get informed. And this was yet another edition of Money Matters with DCGsa, right here on your country's number one, Link FM. Casper, have a fantastic week ahead.
You too, and
We'll
be
chat
blessed.
again next week,
We hope so.
as always.
Bye bye.
Blessings.
Was proudly brought to you by DCGsa.